Hi everyone, my name's Ben Putt. I'm from Monogram Coffee in Calgary, Canada. I'm one of the founders of Monogram Coffee. I'm currently at the World Barista Championship where I'm a finalist, and I'm a former 3-time finalist in the World Barista Championships. Yeah. So my concept for the barista competition this year was kind of multifaceted. It was basically talking about different gases and sort of where they exist. And these gases exist in coffee processing because you have oxygen and carbon dioxide, but looking at a larger scale and how these gases have had an impact on our planet, but then also all the way down to like a very small thing. At the beginning of the presentation, I had the judges breathe in and breathe out, and then talked about the gases that are even within our own lungs when we're breathing. So I was trying to do one theme, but be able to stretch it across a big expanse. Yeah, we chose to use Stronghold for the competitions for a couple of reasons. We actually kind of took a chance on it. We had just heard really good things about it, and we decided to give it a go. The thing that first appealed to me was I like roasters where they have a large amount of convection. I think you get really even roasts. They work well for espresso or filter. The batch size was really nice. We have the 7, so we roast between 500 and 600 grams. Some of the very small roasters just aren't as viable. But then as we started to use it, it's such a repeatable roaster. This year we actually mixed batches, and we found that even with mixing batches, they were still really even and consistent. So it's really served a great purpose for us in terms of competition. A big advantage in using Stronghold for competition, I think the roasts come out really clean. They're not too gassy right off the start, so you can get a really good feel for how they taste. And then to be able to reproduce a roast again and again is really key, because sometimes you want the same roast profile roasted again so you can age it out different or things like that. So having a roaster where I feel like I can create that same roast rather than just chasing a profile forever and ever, I think is a huge advantage. I think one of the biggest differences with Strongholds versus other roasters is it's easy to dive in and start roasting right away. Whether you're a super experienced roaster that knows what you want to build, if you know what you want to build, you can do that on a Stronghold right away. If you've never roasted coffee before, there's profiles online you can look at to see people's general perspectives. It's all on a really easy visual graph, so you can see exactly what's happening with the roaster. All those things are super convenient, and it basically opens up coffee roasting to any level of expertise. On the barista side, one of the big advantages of the Stronghold is we were able to use it. The coffee we used was a wash geisha, so very delicate, lots of floral notes, also a good amount of acidity. And so trying to roast a coffee where you preserve florals, but you haven't taken it so dark that you lose that character, you can actually do that on the Stronghold. You can get a full development on a coffee while still dropping it at a final temperature where it hasn't overdeveloped the coffee and there's no roast notes. Because I feel like especially with wash geishas, any roast qualities, you've sort of squashed what makes that coffee special. I think something that I really appreciate on the Stronghold is the ease of use. So my nationals was about a month ago, and so we had to turn things around really quickly. And the Stronghold is so easy to use that I would like start a roast, do something, and then go and you're able to interact with the roaster so quickly that you can multitask quite a bit. One funny thing that actually happened is I had a profile where I started it, and it replicated it so well I didn't have to do any adjustments. But I didn't know that eventually if you leave it too long, it assumes that you left and it will turn itself off. But it was tracking so perfectly that I didn't have to do anything. So a lesson is if it's tracking really well, you still want to touch the screen once in a while. Yeah, I think when you're building roast profiles on the Stronghold, it's good to spend enough time that you know what each one will do, but then ultimately, one of the cool things with the Stronghold is there's so many things to adjust that you have those options. I think it's best to pick the ones that you think you understand the best in terms of the final cup quality and then hone in on those. So I played with the drum speed, the infrared, and the hot air. As time went on, I learned that my best knowledge was around the use of hot air. So most of my focus has been on the hot air, but depending on what style of roaster you are, all those options are available, which I think is really cool, that you don't have to be an expert just in convection roasting to be able to roast on this roaster, that you have those options depending on what your style is or what you feel most comfortable with. So on the halogen side, the biggest thing I've seen is it seems you have better expansion of the bean at the beginning of the roast, right when it's drying. It opens up the coffee a bit more. I think the chaff leaves sooner, and I think all those things help to avoid any like hay or straw flavors in the coffee. So I think on the initial drying is mostly where we use it, and it's been really, really helpful. Yeah, I think the coffee community is really important to me, and events like this are just amazing. I'm excited to continue to roast delicious coffees and share those coffees with people, and I love the community around these competitions, and I can't wait to do more of them.